Our southern weather is unpredictable.
We know you've seen a thing or two.
Like heavy rainstorms,
extreme heat, and flying debris.
Your New South windows are custom built for your home and designed for extreme conditions.
That's why you need New South by your side.
Enjoy comfort, safety, and security.
We install peace of mind with our lifetime guarantee. Superior windows, factory direct.
New South proud.
Buy more, save more. Volume discounts on 4 or more windows.
Time, weather, and always. How you doing, everybody? I'm Chief Meteorologist Denis Phillips. Heat's still the hot topic of weather conversation, right? Just smashed the previous record for rainfall in Tampa. Still a very nice day. We've got some clouds out there, even a couple of sprinkles as another front rolls through the area. Most of us wake up to sunshine and then very warm temperatures in the afternoon. Our temperatures, they're going up and they're staying up. Really nice forecast, especially if you're planning on going to the beach or the pool. Rain chances very slim. Another beautiful day in store. It's going to bring us a very high chance of storms. Isolated showers across the area. Mother Nature likes to remind us that it isn't set by a calendar. We are always on it for you, just in case things begin to pop.
Streaming from the ABC Action Weather Center in Studio A, this is Denis Phillips Live.
Sponsored by New South Window Solutions. Made in Florida for Florida homes by Florida workers.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Tuesday night edition of Denis Phillips Live, and we have got, in spite of the fact that the tropics appear to be relatively quiet, we still have a lot to talk about, including the tropics. And you know what? We've a ton to show you, but I'm just going to go ahead and just, boom, start right here. So, and we'll get into this in a minute, but when you start to look at, this is the time frame, October 11th through October 17th, and October 18th to October 24th. And you see in both time frames the exact same area highlighted. Northern Caribbean, Northern Pacific, Western Gulf. And you see the exact same area in both of those. So that would be a tease, and we will talk more about that coming up in just a minute. But I do want to do some hellos and some shout outs. We've got a lot of folks here stopping by for the first time in a while. We have, I think that, the talk of a strong cold front on the way can bring people in. The talk of Canadian wildfires, which I had quite, I'm like that Michael Jackson gif when he's eating popcorn at the movie theater when he was watching Thriller. I think that came from Thriller. In fact, I know it came from Thriller. And people post it in reading the comments, because I always get a kick out of the conspiracy theorists who go on there, well, wait a minute, you really want me to believe that even though we have smoke in Florida, we don't have smoke in the Carolinas or in Georgia, that this is coming from Canada? It's somewhere else. And of course, the nefarious, implications could be whatever, but my immediate response is, well, then what is it? I mean, is it that big weather machine that people talk about? It could, and then I think to myself, well, if there is a conspiracy going on in some way, shape, or form, how come I don't get anything out of it like the GFS, hashtag cha-ching, that allegedly, supposedly, I every time I mention GFS, I get a kickback from who knows where, but some sort of a kickback. It's a math problem. It's a math formula, okay? So I do want to do some hellos real quick. Ryan, Anna Maria, Alicia, Debbie, Tiffany, Spring Hill. I love when I see where you guys are from, because we get folks from all over the world here, which is crazy to me. Michelle and Wesley Chapel. Steve, bro, how are you? Hola to you, Chastity. We've got Pat in Gainesville. Bridget, as always, great to see you. St. Pete's in the house. Kelly, what a pathetic attempt at baseball today by the Rays. I mean, look, you guys know me. I'm my first son, no, my second son. If you walk into the Trop and you go to the Rays Rotunda, you will see an area called the Rays Wall of Fame. My son is on that Rays Wall of Fame. You asked me, why would that be? They have one every single year. The very first year the Rays were a team, before they were a team, I named my son after one of their original draft choices. The kid's name, it was a supplemental draft, the kid's name was Shea Gunner. I liked Gunner as well, by the way, but I was vetoed. It ended up being Shea, which I like Shea as well. But the irony about that is, so when they had a contest nominating the biggest fans of the Rays, they do it every year. The very first year they had the induction of it, I nominated Shea because he had to be the first baby ever named after a Rays player because they weren't even a team yet. And he did get selected. So you will see in the Rays Rotunda, in the Rays Wall of Fame, you will see me, 26 years younger, holding a little baby, and his nickname was Baby Ray, Shea Phillips, Baby Ray. So I repeat, being a Rays fan from the beginning, as a fan, and this is something else, and we're going to talk about weather, I promise, but that's something that always bothers me. Look, if you're a real sports fan or a sports fan of a team, it isn't always rainbows and unicorns. It isn't always you're going to say great things about the team and you're not showing your support otherwise. It's not true. In my opinion, a real fan can be critical of their team. It doesn't mean they don't love them, doesn't mean they don't support them, but they can be critical of them because that's what a sports fan can be and does often. They're critical of their team. The Rays played like just, look, clearly they were tight today. You got a lot of young players. I mean, when you get two guys who end up at bat in a game one who have never seen a playoff at bat before, and one kid is just 20 years old, and I mean, look, they had a lot of injuries. You go through injuries. You got to rise above it. But when you have a roster as thin as the Rays have been, when they lost as many as they have, and they're now literally playing guys who have never been in the majors before until a couple of weeks ago, it's going to be a challenge. Let's hope they get it back tomorrow. That and with Zach Eflin pitching against Eovaldi. I'm going to tell you, Eovaldi, if you guys remember the dude, he used to play for the Rays. He went up to Boston. The guy can be lights out unhittable. He's had some injury issues. He's a really tough pitcher. So the Rangers have him going tomorrow. So it could be a tough go of it. We will see. Bel Air Beach, how you doing? Crystal, good to see you. Jules, as always, nice to see you. Kathy, Prudy in Spring Hill. How are you doing? Say hello to your lovely daughter. I hope I see you guys. And our Christmas display, the Halloween display is up. Ryan, I believe, is going to do a guest appearance on DPL on Thursday. My daughter, Ryan. I have a Shay and I have a Ryan. And we have a Shay Ryan that I work with. Go figure. But Ryan will give you guys, I'll have him hook up the speakers so you can actually see and hear the lightorama impacts or the effects of our Halloween display. The Christmas one, you guys probably know. That's my thing. I mean, at Christmas time, I go ballistic with decorations, as does our entire neighborhood. But we've started doing Halloween as well. So, Jenny, how you doing? Good to see you. Talking about the smoke, lavender sunset, Carol, awesome. I said on TV tonight, I thought the sunset was going to be spectacular with all that smoke out there. Troy in Lakeland, how are you? Punta Gorda's in the house. We've got Terry, nice to see you. Tampa Bay Riverview, Christina. Andrea from the desert of Seminole. Boy, I'll tell you, we do need the rain, don't we? David, good to see you. Lilman's in the house with Mary. Traverse City in the UP of Michigan. Diana's here. Sarasota, SRQ's in the house. Rodri, how you doing? Bonnie. We have got Crystal from GP. Wait a minute. I'm thinking GP for some reason. Grosse Pointe came into my mind in Michigan. I know that's not right. Why am I drawing a blank on GP? Gulfport. That's it. Okay. Lake Worth's in the house. We've got Brenda in Oldsmar. We've got Lauren. So lots and lots of folks here. We got a lot of weather to jump into. So here, I'm going to start tropics. All right? Let's start tropics, and then we'll get into our cold weather. Hey, in Countryside. Adam, how you doing? Oh, Traverse City's in the, well, she said in Upper Michigan, so I'm assuming she said Upper Michigan, so I assumed it was in the Upper Peninsula. But you know what, Adam? I'll take your word for it. I didn't really look. But yeah, why did she say Upper Michigan? Because Upper Michigan should be the Upper Peninsula, right? I'm confused by that one. Hernando County, Steve, how you doing? All right, so Vicki, you are coming to the neighborhood for Christmas. I hope so. I hope so, because we do a big fundraiser for the Children's Miracle Network. All right, so anyway, and I'll mention that real quick. Second and third Saturday in December, we do a big hot chocolate popcorn, rule number 7 mug fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. So that's, put it on your calendar, second and third Saturday in December. All right, so as I was saying though, when you look at this, and by the way, this map, I'll zoom in for you here. So let's go ahead and take it full so you can kind of see what we're talking about here. All right, so this is the thing, and I've been talking about this now for the last 10 days, all right? What you're looking for here, this is not really showing low pressure developing. It's showing lower pressure is expected in somewhere in this area. Now, the computers are leaning more toward the Pacific. Why do we know that? Because the dark red color is 40% likelihood. The hatched red is 20 to 40. So at least right now, the thinking is development would be in the Eastern Pacific. Now, could it move north into the Gulf, the Bay of Campeche? It absolutely could. Could it go more west? It absolutely could. But this is the time stretch of October 11th through October 17th, okay? With potential development. Now, I've been talking about this today, and I talked about it on TV tonight. Did you guys know that the month of October, the odds of a direct strike from a tropical system in the Bay Area are higher in the month of October than any other month of the year? And this is why. Because of this potential lowering of pressure in the Gulf or the Pacific or the Northern Caribbean. Well, that's next week, my son's wedding week. And I keep sending him GFS projections of a tropical storm or a hurricane in the Northern Gulf on his wedding day. And that's a twofold issue. One, it would be a tropical storm or a hurricane near him on his wedding day. It would be two, that his father would not be able to go to the wedding because of the tropical storm / hurricane in the Northern Gulf on his wedding day. And three, since dad is paying for a lot of the wedding, would dad then therefore continue to go and write out that payment if he could not go because of a wedding that was planned in mid-October? All three are interesting questions. So anyway, nevertheless, that would be the issue going on in the Phillips household next week. All right? Definitely not a fish storm, Michelle. Anything that forms in this area is not a fish storm. It's going to hit land. So let's go to the following week. We have the exact same thing, except look at where that red solid area is. It now enters the Western Caribbean, Belize, up toward the Yucatan. So my gut is, here's what's happening with that, okay? I'm gonna talk to you about this. So my guess is those are two separate entities. I don't believe it's looking at the same entity with lowering pressures for a 2-week stretch. Anytime and we're talking about a front this week, we'll talk about a stronger front October 13th, 14th potentially, and I'll show you that in the models as well. Anytime you get a front that comes down into Florida and potentially even into the Keys or down into the Yucatan, that front is going to stall out. At some point it stalls out, all right? And when it stalls out, it is extraordinarily common, dare I say it's the norm, that low pressure will develop along that stalled out front if it lingers for a couple of days. All right? So clearly what these models are, not models, what this forecast from the climate, it's from the Climate Prediction Center, but it's the Global Tropics Hazard Outlook. All right? So what clearly this is looking at is frontal boundaries coming out, stalling out, and low pressure developing along it. Now, over the last 10 days, the GFS has been pretty aggressive in developing something along these boundaries. Tropical storms, hurricanes, and I'll send them to Brett, my son, the one who's getting married, and he'll be like, 993 millibars, who cares? So the kid knows he's not a kid anymore. Boy, how'd that happen? He knows his weather. But the point is, the models are off again, on this, as they will be. because what you usually look for is lowering of pressures. Gradual lowering of pressures along a stalled out frontal boundary often leads to cyclogenesis, which leads to tropical development. That happens. It's very common in October. So when we say the hurricane season is not over yet, we're not talking about areas out here in the eastern Atlantic where it pretty much is over. The tropical Atlantic shuts down in this time of the year. You say, how do I know that? Well, let's look, all right? So this is a look at development from October 1st to October 10th. And in this one, you still have some stuff out in the eastern Atlantic. But you certainly see the Caribbean and the Gulf a pretty hot spot for development. This is climatologically, this is not a forecast, this is the average, right, over the last 30 years. Actually, no, this is 1851. You still see some development out in the eastern Atlantic, October 1st through October 10th. Got it? Next, let's look at October 11th through the 20th. You see less development in the tropical Atlantic and more development in the Caribbean. And in the eastern, by the way, in the Bahamas too. So that's the 11th to the 20th, the time that the global tropics outlook, whatever, is looking at, right? So let's look at October 20th through Halloween. The entire tropical Atlantic out there is shut down, and it's starting to wind down here as well. But as we all know, if you were to be able to see this pretty closely, look at the tracks of these storms. They're going to go north, and eventually they're going to go east. And look where they go. Quite often right into the Bay Area. It is a very common track. The last major hurricane hit the Bay Area directly, 1921. One of these storms. Probably this one. Went right there. So the point is, even though there's nothing going on now, we still have another 4 weeks, and I would expect there will be at least one more named storm in the Gulf or the Northern Caribbean in the month of October, probably 2. And what happens is they go north, and eventually they're going to kick east. Why? 9 times out of 10, because they're going to have a front coming in out ahead of it. Because we get a lot of fronts this time of the year and a lot of troughs digging in. So that is what we're looking at for the next month. Now, let's look at the U.S., all right? And I'm just going to go ahead and let this run, and this is going to make some folks happy. I'm going to take this full. Here's the GFS. Where is Sean? The 540 line will be seen. The 540 line is the freezing line. This is the GFS. This is day 4. There comes the front. Oh, hold on. Let me go back. There comes our front. Look at your 540 line. People are like, what's the 540 line mean? 540 line is usually the rain-snow line when it comes to precipitation, but it's the freezing line. So there is your 540 line moving into Indiana and Ohio this weekend. And it is also digging all the way down east to Northern Virginia. It's the blue dotted line. There's your 540 line. And look at the snow, probably upstate New York. How it impacts us, we'll talk about in a minute. There's your 540 line, kind of hanging out. Looks like a cutoff low, actually, up in the northeast. And it lifts north. But I want you to look at the next front. All right? There is another front that develops. There it comes. There it comes. Pretty powerful. And then all of a sudden, look what the GFS is showing in the Gulf on October 14th. What is significant about October 14th in my world? that would be the day my son is supposed to get married. So there you have it. There you have it. Now, I'll say this again. There's absolutely no agreement on what, if this is just a sloppy system with some rain or whatever, or if anything even develops, because again, it is 10 days out. We all know 10 days out is fantasy land. But I will tell you, in my opinion, as persistent as these fronts are, and as much juice is going to still be down in the Caribbean and the Gulf, I would expect there is going to be some kind of development. What that development is, who knows? But the odds are certainly greater than 50%, in my opinion, that you are going to see some development with this next system in the middle of October. All right? So there you have it. And by the way, this is weak. As you see, this is nothing even developed, 1,004 millibars. There's really nothing to it. But it does bring some rain into Florida, and look how strong, how far south that front goes. That front makes it all the way down into Cuba, right? Which sets us up for the second week on this. October 18th to the 24th, where you see another area of development. I don't know what happened. Oh, there it is. See? So to me, it makes a lot of sense that we're going to have two areas that potentially could be developing over the next 3 to 4 weeks. The kind of development, nothing, who knows? I'm just saying what I would expect, what I anticipate over the next 4 weeks is you're going to have a lowering of pressures in the southern Gulf, in the northern Caribbean as a front develops and stalls out. And at that point, we'll see what happens. But I say it again, it is very common. And matter of fact, it is the norm for these lows to develop in the Gulf and the northern Caribbean in the month of October. All right? So what I'm telling you is not rocket science. This is 35 years of experience doing this and kind of knowing how things play out. All right? So I go again, show you what the models show, and go figure. Look at, that was the very last frame. And you know me, I will ridicule the GFS till the cows come home, whatever time that is, in the long-range forecast. But this is one of the times that I would actually say it kind of makes sense that you're going to see two areas of development. There's the front stalling out, and then all of a sudden, you get development along that front. Where, how much, who knows? And that would be October the 19th. Ironically enough, that is the 103rd anniversary of, second anniversary of the last major hurricane to hit the Bay Area. James, how you doing? Hey, James, Shea has really been trying to golf a lot lately. He's been going to the range a lot. He's been, he's been working on his game. So hopefully you're doing well. James is the pro at Eastlake Woodlands. Great guy, big weather fan. So anyway, there you go. So that is kind of what we are thinking with the tropics, all right? Now, let's go back and look at temperatures locally, all right? This is tomorrow morning. This is Thursday morning. This is Friday morning. This is Saturday morning. And watch what happens starting on Sunday morning. You see temperature, I believe that's Sunday, 120 hours. The 8th. Is the 8th on Sunday? Yes. Sunday morning, look at your temperatures cooling off across our area. 50s north of I-4. And look at Monday morning, even chillier. So there, Fred, how you doing? Good to see you, Fred. I believe Fred is an avid Christmas lights Lightorama fan, as I am as well. So We have a little community here with, and I will tell you something. See, I was named after a man named Dennis Stallings. Fred Stallings is on here as well. No relation. I asked him. Because Larry Stallings was Dennis Stallings' his son, who played for the St. Louis Cardinals, middle linebacker, all-pro linebacker back in the day. I was named after his father, who worked with my dad. And there's a Fred Stallings here, and I thought, hey, that's related, but you're not. All right, anyway, so the little things you may have not known, and I know you certainly did not care about yours truly. All right, so as I said, thank you, Jolene. I appreciate it. So there are your morning lows, Monday morning. But what about in the afternoon? All right. What are those temperatures show in the afternoon? Honestly, I can't even read it. I think that's in the low to mid 80s. Yes, it is. So the forecast, let's go ahead and take these since we are getting through the forecast. The plume of smoke, and that's the other thing, and I'll show you that in a second. But there you have it. Sunday morning, Monday morning, 50s. 60s along the coast, closer to 70 around St. Pete. All right? Dew points are comfortable in the 60s. Starting Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday, you could open up your windows and let all that heat, humidity, and stench that gathered over this hot, humid summer and let it all air out. The winds will be picking up as well behind this front as well. Today, we hit the upper 80s to around 90 degrees right now in Tampa. We are mostly cloudy, 82 degrees. I'm sure we had a spectacular sunset. Family vacation, 13th to the 20th at Disney. I'm sure you'll be fine. I mean, I don't know. Depends if something develops in the Gulf, right? All right, so there's a look at the satellite, all right? Here's Futurecast. East to northeast wind. Tomorrow it's going to be identical to today. Identical, to quote my cousin Vinny. There will be smoke around again, there will be haze, and there will be some inland showers across the area. Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate it. By the way, all star donations go toward the Children's Miracle Network, so thank you very much. Miracle prediction for October 27th in the Keys for your 40th birthday. On the 27th, by then, whatever's out there should have passed. And I would expect you will be in good shape. So be sure to check later in the month, and I will give you an update on it. Cruises are a little tricky. Cruises are a little tricky if it's a Gulf cruise down into the Caribbean. I will tell you, it is a little tricky. So that is the waters have cooled down, Peggy, down to 82 now in the Gulf. Anyway, let's get back to where we're showing. There's an easterly wind tomorrow. So check back later in the month as well and give you an update. But right now, I'm inclined to think it's going to be okay because whatever's out there should have passed through. And typically, Halloween is warm and humid without a lot of storminess. All right, so look at the temperatures. Look at them drop. Saturday night, Sunday, Monday. Look at your highs next week for the folks who were asking. Highs in the middle 80s, still below average. Okay, morning lows 50s and 60s, highs low 80s Sunday and Monday, middle 80s the middle of the week. And if you look at the long range forecast through next week, we stay slightly below average right through the period. Wanda, thank you very much. Crystal, thank you very much. Good fire pit weekend, you betcha, especially Sunday night. Sunday night more than Saturday night, Crystal, but definitely Sunday night and not bad on Sunday. Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate it as always. So I want to show you this, all right? Rainfall potential down near zero into the weekend, okay? Again, thank you for all of the stars. All those star donations go to the Children's Miracle Network. Okay, I want you to look at this map, all right? Look at where the clouds are across Florida. For the folks who are saying, oh, this can't be smoke from Canada, why did the East Coast not get any? Look at the track in Canada. Look up there in the top and look where it goes, around and through Florida. So the reason this is not made up, it is not a conspiracy, is because the upper level winds are going around the coast and into Florida, not down the coast. There is your proof. Conspiracy, this is not your conspiracy. I'm all for a good conspiracy, but this is not one of them. This is smoke from Canadian fires, and it's going to be around again tomorrow as well. If If you're watching on our streaming app, thank you very much. We will see you on Thursday night's edition of DPL. Okay, I'm still here. I will take this full if you can't see this. All right, here you go. Okay, here you go. Now, look at what's in Quebec. See that up by the blue banner, okay? Look at the cloud. Look at the direction in which the clouds are going, right? And then they go off. Watch this. All right, I'm going to show you this. They go like this, and like that. They don't go like this. So the reason that we had the smoke and they did not in areas like here, because that was not the direction of the upper level winds. They go like this, you can see it, like this, and like that. So there it is. But I do love I'm not going to lie. I just love the conspiracy stuff. Karen, thank you very much. Again, all star proceeds benefit Children's Miracle Network right through the end of the year. So there it is. Jenny asked for the 540 line. Jenny, were you not here earlier? Were you late to the party? There is your 540 line. There it is, the blue line. Let me show you right now. It's a good question, Jacob. The answer is no. So there is the 540 line, your blue line right there. And by the way, the euro also shows that here's the euro. Also shows that 540 line. A little bit of cutoff low right up there in the northeast. And there's your 540 just spinning around up there. See that? With some lake effect snows. The euro also shows low pressure trying to develop in the Gulf. You see that? So folks who are late to the party, I will recap, but this does repeat, by the way, when I cut this off. Hello in Illinois. Chavez, how you doing? Chavez? How goes it? So there is the euro in 9 days. There's the GFS in 9 days. They both are showing broad low pressure trying to develop, as does the global tropics hazard outlook. Now, as I showed you earlier, and I think this is important to note, next week, the dark red is more in the Pacific. See? See the dark red? The higher risk of development or threat of development is more in the Pacific. There's still some in the Bay of Campeche down through the Western Caribbean. But the following week, the odds are equally as high in the Southern Gulf and the Western Caribbean as they are in the Pacific. So what this means, again, if you're just tuning in, is we would expect lowering pressures in that area along a stalled out front next week and the following week. It doesn't mean a tropical system develops. It doesn't mean a subtropical system develops. It just means pressure likely will lower. Now, is it common for systems to develop where the pressures are lowering? You betcha it is. And is it common a track north and eventually northeast with a system like this? You betcha it is. So, when October hits, and you get these fronts that we're all looking forward to, or most of us are looking forward to at least, once those fronts come through, they stall out, you often see lowering pressure along that, and then you get the potential for development. And because the next 2 weeks, we will have 2 separate fronts coming through and stalling out, we would expect to see lowering pressures along that stalled out front each week, next week and the following week. So there you go. That would be it. All right. Clearwater here. How you doing, Deb? Nice to see you. You are right, Anna Maria. So thank you, Christine. I appreciate it. Again, all star donations go to the Children's Miracle Network. Jacob, same thing. Will the cooler temperatures lower the Gulf temps for less development? Jacob, the magic number typically is 80 degrees for tropical development. The water temp off of Clearwater now is 82. Yes, these cold fronts will lower the temps, but what often happens is you don't get a truly tropical system when the water lowers. You still get low pressure. I mean, think about that. In the wintertime, we're not 80-degree water temp, but we still get big low pressures develop. They're just a different kind of low. It's a cold core system as opposed to a warm core tropical system. So what often happens when you get in that gray area from the upper 70s to the low 80s, you often have what is called a subtropical system or a hybrid system, not truly tropical, not truly cold core, still low pressure, still develops and still intensifies. So yes, you are less likely to have a truly tropical system when the water gets cooler, but you still will have development, low pressure development nevertheless. All right, does that make sense? How you doing, Deb in Moon Lake? Good to see you. Yes, the wind is still blowing in Zephyr Hills and will be again tomorrow. October 14th is your anniversary. Lisa. Well, yes, that will be my son's wedding date, as long as the hurricane doesn't come. Sean! Come on, my brother. Sean just shows up, and look what you've missed, Sean. Just look. Look at the 540 line, my man. Look at the 540 line. Teresa in Pennsylvania, how you doing? Good to see you. So the 540 line does make it into Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and then it looks like a little cutoff low tries to develop in Pennsylvania. Look at that. Look at that little low. Look at that 540 right there. So, oh my God. Terry, you want a quick recap? Terry, you're 37 minutes late. Come on. Come on. All right, so this does repeat. I will say one last time because Terry's been around for a long time. Sean was late too. You guys are killing me. You guys are the original. You're the OGs too. There's no excuse for that. The OGs should be here on time or expecting a recap. All right, recap. Smoke tomorrow again, like today. I showed the smoke plume, why it is not in the Carolinas, in the Mid-Atlantic, why it is only here. Not going to show that one again. That was only for the people who were here. If you missed, it's your loss. Now, front comes in Friday actually. Secondary front on Saturday, a dry front, much colder weather. We showed the temperatures, 50s on Sunday morning and Monday morning. Monday morning, the colder of the two morning, highs in the low 80s Sunday and Monday, highs in the middle 80s on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Front stalls out down south, and then when it does, potentially, we are looking, see, look at this. I'm going to take this one full. This is the Euro, and this shows development in the Pacific. Remember this map right here? It showed next week the higher probability is in the Pacific, but it could still develop in the Gulf or the Western Caribbean. Well, the Euro has it as a Pacific storm, the first one. See it? See it develop? And then it starts to lift north. And then you get that potential additional development, a little piece of energy. See what probably happens there? See, this is, and I think this, look at that development as it pulls away. Hey, that's kind of cool. Let's go back to the Euro again. Let's look at that. All right, here's the Euro. There's your stalled out front. Stalled out fronts. What happens along stalled out fronts? Cyclogenesis. There it is. There's your little development. You got two. And that could be split in energy, and that's very possible. But you still got your low, you still got your development, the Euro, in the Gulf and kind of coming this way. That's the end of next week, by the way. Then at that point, you got a stronger front that comes down. Now, the Euro doesn't go out that far, so never mind. But anyway, that's where we are. Jose, how you doing? Every time I see Jose Mesa, it reminds me of the former bullpen pitcher for the Rays. Okay. You love me so much more in the winter. You guys like your cold air, don't you? Okay, I'm gonna respond one more time since you guys may have not been here, and it's this map right here that shows you. All right, you want to know why we are getting the smoke here? Because right here, you got your fires over here. The upper level winds are bringing it this way, and then see how the curve comes in and tracks in that direction. The worst arrow ever. Okay, it does not go like this. That's why there is no smoke in the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas and the Northeast. It's not a conspiracy. I repeat, I like a good conspiracy. This is not one. You can watch the wind. See how it's kind of traveling that way? See the direction the clouds are going? And then, oh, this is a straight line. I can't use this one. Stand by. Gotta get rid of this one. Okay. So it goes like that, and then it curves. That's why we got the smoke here, and they don't get the smoke up there. Got it? Makes sense? There you go. Okay. That would be it. All right. So it will be a fire pit weekend. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Temperatures, we covered it. We covered it. We covered it. We didn't show you the rule number 7 dog bandanas. Those are pretty awesome. And again, all our rule number 7 stuff. You go on my Facebook page. It's right below this post, actually. You'll see all the rule number 7 stuff if you haven't got it, as well as the shirts, the sweatshirts, the hoodies, all that stuff. Proceeds benefit Children's Miracle Network right through Christmas. And they're pretty awesome. The coffee mugs are selling big. Christmas decoration. We actually have Christmas decorations in there now. How about that? You got a Christmas ornament right there. That's FSU colors there. And you got your rule number 7 lightning stuff. You got all these things. And then there's lots of coffee mugs, lots of stuff about pickleball. We got autographed pictures. There's a few available prints left. This is a really cool print that only 2 left, as a matter of fact. But all this stuff, again, proceeds benefit Children's Miracle Network, and we're going to have it running through the holidays. And that, just click on either the rule number 7 link to Etsy off of our Facebook page, or the Teespring one for the shirts and all that stuff too. All right? All right, guys. Well, thanks for stopping by. We will be back on Thursday. Let's hope the Rays can pull out a victory tomorrow. And if they can, then Game 3 would be Thursday as well, seen on your ABC Action News station. But we got some colder weather coming. We got smoke tomorrow. We got colder weather this weekend. And the tropics, I suspect, not saying we're going to see necessarily a substantial tropical system, but I will tell you, in my opinion, I do think we are going to have 2 areas of low pressure in the Gulf developing in the next 2 weeks. And where it goes from there, we will have to see. So we'll be updating again Thursday, and then next week, if things begin to pop, I leave for my son's wedding on Wednesday, so I will be off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But you know me, even if I'm in New Orleans, I will be updating. In fact, I should do a DPL from the French Quarter, from Bourbon Street. Now that would be entertaining. You know what? That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Now, next Thursday night, I can't because they're having a party at my son's house for the wedding. But I will have a DPL from Pat O'Brien's and Hurricanes or somewhere around there next week. That would be kind of entertaining. That would be fun. I will. That is a promise. I am going to have a DPL, and it might be even a late night DPL. Who knows? That would be really entertaining. But I will have a DPL either Thursday, Friday, or even on the wedding day on Saturday from New Orleans to give you guys updates on the tropics and give you an update on the wedding. Ryan will be with us. You know, Ryan's going to be a flower girl. My son Jake's, all the kids are in the wedding. All 5 other brothers and sisters are all in the wedding, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys have a great, great night, and I will see you on Thursday on our next edition of Denis Phillips Live. I thought your son was in Florida College. One was. My oldest son is a doctor. He's the one getting married in New Orleans. My other son, also, he works locally in Tampa. I have a daughter who's working on her last year of her PhD in occupational therapy at UF. I've got a son who's a junior at FSU. I've got another son who's a sophomore in Palm Harbor. And I've got daughter, Ryan, who will give you guys a guided tour of our Halloween decorations on Thursday. And you guys know my daughter, Ryan. She has been a part of this crew from day one. So they're all going to be in the wedding, but you will get a DPL from Bourbon Street next week. It is a promise. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you on our next edition of Denis Phillips Live. You guys have a great night.
Our southern weather is unpredictable.
We know you've seen a thing or two.
Like heavy rainstorms.
Extreme heat and flying debris.
Your New South windows are custom built for your home and designed for extreme conditions.
That's why you need New South by your side.
Enjoy comfort, safety, and security.
We install peace of mind with our lifetime guarantee. Superior Windows, factory direct.
New South proud.
Buy more, save more. Volume discounts on 4 or more windows.